Good morning, students. Today we are going to start chapter number 7, India during the Mauryan period. The Greek Emperor Alexander's invasion, we are going to learn in this chapter, and the Mauryan Empire. The Greek Emperor Alexander's invasion. Alexander the Greek Emperor invaded India, means come to conquer India, the northwest frontiers in 326 BCE, crossed the Indus, means the Sindhu River, and he reached Takshila. On the way, he met with forceful opposition for the local Indian kings. He defeated them all and successfully reached Punjab. However, in this invasion, his army had to suffer severe hardships. Severe means many hardships. The soldiers were eager to go back home. They rebelled against Alexander. They wanted to go back, so they told Alexander that they wanted to turn back home. He therefore appointed Greek officers to administer the conquered territories. They were called as satraps. He started his return journey but died on the way because in 323 BC at Babylon. Today's Babylon is in Iraq. In this slide, we can see Alexander the Great and the coins which they printed. Alexander's campaign led to an increase in the trade between India and the Western world. The historians who accompanied this came with Alexander introduced India to the Western world through their writings. Greek sculpture influenced Indian art, giving rise to Gandhar school of art. The Greek Indians minted characteristic coins. For example, you can see in this picture, one side the coin had a picture of the king who had minted the coin, and on the other side was the picture of the Greek god. The name of the king was also written on the coin. Alexander's coins were the same type. Later, Indian kings also started minting similar coins. Let us learn about the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta Maurya founded the Mauryan Empire. People were tired of the tyrannical rule of the Nanda king of Magda, Dhananand. Chandragupta Maurya brought it to an end and established his own rule in Magda around 325 BCE. He won Avanti and Saurashtra and began to extend the boundaries of his empire. After Alexander's death, a struggle for power began among the satraps he had appointed. Seleucus Nictor was Alexander's general. He became the king of Babylon after Alexander's death. Seleucus Nictor was Alexander's general. He became the king of Babylon after Alexander's death. He invaded the northwest frontiers regions of India and Punjab. Chandragupta Maurya successfully resisted his aggression, means he defeated him. And the defeat of Seleucus Nictor led to the inclusion, means he brought in the territories of northwest frontiers of Kabul, Kandahar, Herat, and Mauryan Empire. Megasthenes, that is one of the historians at that time, from Seleucus Nictor's ambassador stayed back at Chandragupta Maurya's court. His book Indica is an important source for the study of India during the Mauryan period. There is an inscription stating that the Emperor Chandragupta Maurya had built a dam called Sudhir near Junagadh in Gujarat state. Let us talk about Emperor Ashoka. After Chandragupta Maurya renounced the throne, means he left the throne, he was succeeded by his son Bindusar. After Bindusar's death, his son Ashoka succeeded the throne in 273 BCE. Ashoka had been appointed the governor of Takshila and Ujjain before he became the throne. As the governor, he had successfully crushed, means defeated, the revolt at Takshila. After becoming the emperor of Magadha, he launched a campaign against the state of Kalinga. Kalinga occupied the region of today's Odisha state. Emperor Ashoka conquered Kalinga. In this map, we can see Ashoka Empire extended from Afghanistan in the northwest and the Nepal in the north of Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh in the south, and from Bengal in the east to Saurashtra in the west. Now we'll talk about Kalinga War. Ashoka was deeply moved by the bloodshed of the Kalinga War. He decided never to wage a war again. He came to believe that the truth, non-violence, compassion, and forgiveness were the important values. Let us talk about Emperor Ashoka. Emperor Ashoka came to believe that truth, non-violence, compassion, and forgiveness were the important values. Ashoka wanted to spread these teachings among the common people, and therefore he had pillar edicts, means written on them, and stone inscription engraved throughout his kingdom. These writings in Bahmani script. In these inscriptions, he is referred to be as Deva Namo Piyo Piyadasi, that is, beloved of the gods, and he who looks on with affection. Another inscription states that 8 years after he ascended, means he became the king, the throne, he made the conquest of Kalinga and had a change of heart on seeing the devastation it caused. Another inscription of Emperor Ashoka at Delhi Topa shows that he had put strict restrictions on the hunting of bats, monkeys, rhinoceros, and on setting fire to forests. Emperor Ashoka worked for the spread of religion. Ashoka had embraced Buddhism, means he thought of preaching Buddhism all over the world. He had convinced the Third Religious Council on Buddhism at Patliputra. Ashoka sent his own son Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra to Sri Lanka for the spread of Buddhism. He also sent Bauddha bhikshus to West Asia and Central Asia for spreading Buddhism. He also built many stupas and viharas, means wells. Public welfare activity. Emperor Ashoka laid stress importance on the creation of facilities for the welfare of the people. For example, he made provision for free medicines and medical treatment for people as well as for animals. He built many roads, plants, trees for shade on both sides of the road. He dug wells and built dharmashalas. Dharmashalas means where people, travelers can wait for one day and travel the next day. Come on, let us talk about the administration during the Mauryan period. As we can see in this map clearly, Patliputra was the capital of the Mauryan Empire. For the sake of the administration convenience, the empire was divided into four regions, each with its own capital. First one, eastern region, Tosali, that is today's Odisha. Western region, Ujjain, that is Madhya Pradesh. Southern region, Survanagiri, that is Kanikagiri in Karnataka, and the last fourth one, northern region, that is Takshila, Pakistan. There was a council of ministers which advised the king in the matters of administration. There were many officers working at different levels. There was an efficient, means very good, intelligence service which kept an eye on the administration and on the movements of the enemies. Let us learn about the life of the people during the Mauryan period. During the Mauryan period, agriculture production had great importance. Trade and other occupations had also prospered well. There were many occupations like carving and engraving in ivory, that is the tusk of the elephant, weaving, dyeing cloth, coloring the cloth, and metal work. Black glazed pottery was also produced. Shipbuilding was carried out on a large scale. In the metal work, the technology of making articles of other metal as well as those of iron had developed. Different festivals and functions were celebrated in villages and towns. Dance and music concerts, means a lot of people used to gather, were a part of entertainment. Wrestling bouts and chariot races were popular, and so were board games and chess. Chess was called Ashtapad. This is a slide where we can see a cave at Barwa. Art and literature. During the period of Emperor Ashoka, the art of rock cut sculpture was promoted. The pillar erected by Ashoka are excellent examples of specimens of Indian sculpture. This is also a sculpture of Ashoka times. There were excellent carvings of animals like the lion, the elephant, the bull on these pillars. And the chakra on wheel of the Ashoka pillar at Sarnath has a place of honor on the Indian national flag. The pillar has lion on all four sides, but only the three are visible from the front. This is the official seal of the Government of India. The cave sculpture at Baraba Hills, carved during the period of Ashoka, are well known. These caves are in Bihar and they are the oldest cave sculpture in India that we have seen in the before slide. After the death of Emperor Ashoka, the Mauryan Empire began to decline. After the Mauryans, many new states and some empires also emerged in India. The Mauryan Empire was the largest empire in ancient India. In the next chapter, we shall discuss the political and the cultural happenings in the post Mauryan period.